everyone. Good evening. I'm April Davis with April Davis Creations, and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. And I live in Spring Hill, Kansas. And tonight is Thursday, November 7th. Thank you for joining me for my Facebook Live. I'm so excited to have you join me. I'm double checking just to make sure everything's working. Everything is working so we can get started. If you are watching tonight, please do say hello. Let me know where you're watching me from. And if you have any questions, please speak up. I love to interact while I'm trying to work. And I promise I'll try not to ignore you, but when I start crafting, then sometimes I forget to look at the screen, but I do love it when you're here with me. So let's talk about some of the specials that Stampin' Up! Has going on right now, and then we can get to the cards because I'm really excited about the cards. So let me pull up my computer screen just to share with you. Just to get us started, the first thing I wanted to share is that we have some new online products. So when you go out to our online store, you'll see the online exclusives, and anywhere you see a new, it means that these are new to our online store. Some really cute stamps and dies and kits and paper, and there's actually 2 pages of different things that are brand new. And so I'm scrolling through these really quickly. You can take some time and go back and look at all the various things that we've got, but a lot of new online items. 2 of those new online items are actually new kits. And so I just wanted to kind of touch on the kits for just a second. The first one is the layered landscape kits. Now, this is actually 4 different landscapes, and you're only seeing one of them in the display, but I'm going to go ahead and take you over to the instructions. These are the instructions that come with the kits. So now you can see you get a better look at what landscapes are in this kit. And it does come with the frames, but I wanted to kind of show you how this is put together. It's layered. And so you have several different layers that you're going to put together in order to create your landscape. So that's the landscape one. And then the other new kit that we've got is called Nature's Paintings Kit. This is a fun kit. Let me see if I can scroll. Yes, I think I can scroll. Oh, this is just the picture of it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the instructions of this one as well. And as I scroll down, you can see you're utilizing watercolor pencils. We've got a water painter here, and then you've got all different images to be able to paint, and it takes you through as to what colors you might want to use. Certainly you can go rogue and do whatever you want to, but the kit is designed to give you some instructions so that you can create. What a fun kit to be able to travel with, take with you. I think the kids would really like this. This might make a great Christmas gift, but I wanted to show this to you as well. The other thing I want to talk about is on my website, and that is a new kit that I have going out, and this is called Santa's Workshop. So we're all trying to get ready for the holidays, and because we're trying to get ready for the holidays, there's different things that we need to take care of, like, for example, our Christmas cards, or maybe there's some packaging that needs to be done, or maybe you need some tags. And so if you go out to my website under Classes and Clubs, and then under Santa's Workshop, you will read all about the kit that I have for Santa's Workshop. And what's fun about this kit is, for example, I do have 3 bundles. You can purchase 1 bundle, 2 bundles, or all 3 bundles. It's totally up to you. But all the information is out here. So I'm going to come back just so that I can show you some of the items in this kit because they're really cute. So let me go ahead and I'm going to do a switcheroo here. I'm back with you, and now we're going to switch to my desktop. Okay, so we talked about the cards. The cards, actually, you're going to get 13 cards. You're going to start with a card kit, and you're going to get the card kit. And then with the card kit, you're also going to get a kit to be able to create 5 additional cards. This happens to be one of the 5 additional cards that you're going to be creating. So that's fun. Then we've got packaging. And so we've got, for an example of the packaging, is our little milk carton package with our cute little reindeer on it. So you can use this to put little candies or some little special gifts in, little small gifts. But we've got the reindeer packaging, and then also gift cards are always really popular. So I've got a couple of gift card packages here that when you open them up, the gift card pops up. So those are the packaging ones. And then the last one that I have to show you, and of course the picture on my website, you're getting many more. You're getting 13 cards, you're getting several different sets of packaging, and then you also tags. You have to have tags, of course, to be able to put on your packages. So these cute sled tags are part of the kit as well. So you get to choose whatever you want, but hopefully this will help you get ready for the holidays. All right, that's enough as far as showing you what's coming up. The last thing that I want to bring up, and I'll bring it, maybe I should bring it up now. Just while I'm here, I'm going to go here one more time, bring it over to you guys, and just say that this is a to-go class. So I just want to share with you where you need to go for the to-go class. Again, under classes and clubs, go to the to-go classes, and then all the information for this particular class will be listed here. We're using the Humble Home Bundle, and I will send you, if you like this kit, I will send you this kit for free when you place an order in my online store of $40 or more before taxes and shipping. So all that information is here. The one thing that you need to remember to do is just to use the host code when you place your order. That way I know that you are interested in the to-go class for free. Okay, now I'm going to come back to my desktop. Oh, it's me. Hi. We're going to come back to my desktop, and I'm going to actually show you the cards that we're going to be making. I had so much fun with these cards. This is the Humble Home cards set. And let me just show you the stamps first. These are the stamps. And what's fun about this, you may have seen these before because these are on the front of our mini catalog. How fun is that? So we've got a number of our Humble Home stamps here, and then more information is on page 46 of the catalog. But the Humble Home does not have dies. It actually has a punch. And so the punch, if I can get a good angle on it so you don't see the reflection, we have the heart, we have a home, and then we've also got the windows as well. And I'm not sure what that little circle is all about because I'm not using it tonight. But anyway, this is the Humble Home, and the cards that we're making, let me move this stuff out of the way to make room for the cards. But we have this card to start. And what I decided to do with these cards is I am featuring the embossing folders. So you can see the embossing on this card. We'll talk about this in just a second. Our second card, we're using the plaid embossing folder. And the third card, we are using the painted trees embossing folder. And I'm going to be stepping this up one more step when we actually get ready to make this card. So let's go ahead and move these off to the side. This is going to be our first card, and I'm going to bring in the kit for this card. So for this card, we have crumb cake for our card base. Obviously, we've got basic white that I'm actually going to be cutting a circle in. I've already gone ahead and embossed the inside layer. Let's see if you can get that in there. And I used the Timber 3D embossing folder. So I went ahead and embossed that. And then I went ahead and stamped the house this time around. I've got several other houses that I'm stamping, so you're not going to miss anything. I'm going to stamp some more for you. And then I've got a couple of card scraps that we're going to utilize for the wreath. But I wanted to go ahead and get started on this because I've got a little bit of coloring to do, and then we've got to build this card out. So before I do that, I'm going to bring in, let me look. Oh, this is actually, I've got several circles that we're going to be utilizing for these cards. And this one is actually using the large circle from the Stylus Shape dies. And so I need to first of all cut a circle from the Stylus Shape dies. So let me pull this largest circle out. So we've got that. And let me move this off to the side. I got to clear some space here. Move this off to the side, and I'm going to go ahead and use my mint tape to cut this out. Now, if anybody's watching, I'm kind of trying to watch on my little iPad to make sure everything's okay, and it looks like I'm frozen, and so I don't know if I'm just frozen for me or if I'm frozen for you too. So I'm going to make sure that you guys can see me okay. So if somebody would just say it's all good, that would be very helpful. All right, I want to get this centered appropriately because I don't want to cut it until I get it centered. I'm going to do it a little high. So I'm going to put my tape down here, and then I'm going to bring my cut and emboss in, my mini cut and emboss. Bring in my plates for my cut sandwich, and I think, yeah, my cardstock's going to be too wide. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my snips. I want to do it on my little one, so I'm just going to cut this down. So I'm going to cut down this side. Not planned, but we're going to do it. And then, does that fit? Nope, it doesn't fit, so let's cut down this side. The circle goes through, I do know that, but my cardstock was just a little wide. So let me move this through. Now I can fit this in. So let's go ahead and do that and put my top plate on. And let's crank this through. Whoops. So my handle on my cut and emboss has decided to, I think I need to tighten the screw on it. So let me crank this through. There we go. We'll pull this through. My cut and emboss gets a lot of work on it. And sometimes I work it so much that my little screw comes loose. So I'm going to have to do some tightening on that. All right, now that this has been cut through, let's go ahead and pull the tape off. Oh, you guys, you know what I did? Oh, my bad. I shouldn't have cut that down because I need that for my card. Did you guys pick up on that? Oh my goodness. Good, Diane. Thank you for letting me know. All right, guys, 1 second. I was trying to get by with my little cut and emboss, and my little cut and emboss was perfect for the die, but I need that large piece. So we have a little faux pas here. I'm back again with my piece, only I'm gonna have to bring out my big cut and emboss. My bad. I just wasn't thinking about how I was doing this because I was thinking I just need to save the center. I wasn't even thinking about the outside. So sometimes we make little faux pas. Not a big deal, but now I gotta bring the big guy in. So we're gonna go through this again. And this time I'm not gonna cut it down because I need it. Oh my goodness, can't believe I did that. Oh well, it happens. All right, so let's do this. I gotta turn it around. Oh goodness. All right, here we go. Let's cut this through. Okay, now we're back on track again. Let me move this out of the way. I was just trying to not have to mess with the big guy, but I needed that size of card because it's going to be my main part. All right, here we go. So we'll do this again. Now I've got a couple of circles, right? And actually you'll see one of these circles is being used on another one of the cards. Okay, now we're moving along. All right, so we've got that. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna go ahead and fold this up and start just kind of laying out how we're going to put this card together. So I'll go ahead and burnish that. And then what will happen is we're gonna put the embossed piece behind, and then I'm gonna pop this piece up. But I want to have my edges all the same. So there we are with that. But now what I need to do is I need to do some stamping. We've already got the house done, so I'm gonna do some coloring on the house, but I do need to stamp a wreath. So I'm gonna pull out my Memento black ink. Make sure I get this inked up well, and I'm actually gonna pull out my Stampin' Pierce mat because I am using my photopolymer stamps, and I just feel like I need a little bit more of a cushion. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stamp my wreath on a little piece of scrap. And let's get this put away and get it cleaned up, and that way we can start coloring. So let's go ahead and do that. And then I have my blender pens. I have Real Red, and I have Shaded Spruce. I chose to go with the light Shaded Spruce because the darker Shaded Spruce was really, really dark. So let's go ahead and color up this wreath really quickly. So make sure you guys can see. It's not hard coloring. I just want to be careful to stay in the lines. And then what I'm going to have to do is once I get this wreath colored, then I am going to fussy cut it. So we've got that. Let me see. I think there's a little bit of green right there. And then we'll take the red and go ahead and get it colored. And we'll fussy cut this here in just a second. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out my white pen. Now this white pen is a Jelly Roll pen. It is not a Stampin' Up pen, but you can pick these up anywhere. I order mine on Amazon and I get them in packs of 4 or 5. I'm going to make that sure that's working. But I love being able to color on these in the white. So sometimes, you know, you want to use the white for dashes to look like stitching. This particular one we're utilizing to color in, I'm going to call it is it bric-a-brac on the house, the trim on the house. But I'm going to go ahead and I already colored in some of it so I wouldn't take up so much time coloring. But I wanted you to see how this works and how fun. Having a white pen is like having a staple, one of your crafting staples, because you will use it a lot. All right, so let me see. There should be another piece in the envelope. Let me double check. It should be just a teeny tiny little, yep, there it is. It's a fallout. Okay, because we're going to start to put this together. I'm going to bring in the punch. And I'm going to punch from the back side so that I can see. So once you've stamped, you want to get this lined up. And so I'm just going to bring this in and line it up so that I've got even edges all around. And once I have that, then I can punch. And I'm going to have to turn it over to give some punch to it, power to it. All right, so we've got that. And it punched a little heart for me. I'm not going to use this heart, but I'm going to keep it. I might use it on something else. So we've got that, and now I'm going to take this little piece. This house is going to be kind of on a pedestal. So I'm going to take this little piece and I'm going to adhere it to the back of my house so it can glue. And then I'm going to go back in and start to build the card base out. All right, so let me get this here. I want to make sure I have it centered appropriately. So we'll just set this down and let it dry while I bring this back in. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get my embossed layer down. Okay, we got that. And I'm going to go ahead and center it, even though I'm going to put the other piece over it. If I center this, then my other piece will center as well. So we'll go ahead and get this over it. And now what I want to do is I'm going to put this piece over it, but I want this piece to be put on dimensionals. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my dimensionals. I got my dimensionals right here. And so let's go ahead and put some dimensionals on here. And I'm not going to put it down just yet. I'm just going to get it prepped to go down because of course I want to see where I'm going to be putting my house. But I want to make sure that I've got plenty of support with the dimensionals. So over here, and then probably around the circle here. And then I think I'm going to put one at the top. It should be good to go there. And then I guess I'll do another one down here at the bottom. Okay, so I'm happy with that. All right, let's move that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to adhere it here. And then what will happen is this is going to go down here. Now, the problem that I have, and I thought about this, I'm going to move that over just a little bit. We're still going to utilize it. But what I want to do is once I get my layer down, I want to be able to put my house in. So we'll do that in just a second. So let's go ahead and take the backs off of the dimensionals so that we can go ahead and get this layer down so it's not moving around. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is, because I want to make sure that I get this centered perfectly, I need to make sure that I'm going to get a little bit of wiggle room. So to get the wiggle room that I need I'm going to put some glue on the back. It doesn't look like that one came off. Okay, I'm going to put some glue on the backs of these. I don't do this all the time, but I do it a lot, especially if I want to be able to center, because once you put these down, they stick. They stick really, really well, and it doesn't leave me much opportunity to adjust if I need to adjust. And I would rather have just a little bit of wiggle room. So now I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get this down right the first time, and then I won't have to adjust very much at all. So I think we've got it. Okay, so we've got that part. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take glue and I'm going to glue down my house. So I'm just going to put a little glue on the backs of this. I really had a lot of fun playing with this set. I've had it for a bit of time and I hadn't done much with it. And I decided to pull it out, and I'm so glad that I did because I'm having so much fun with it. Now, one of the things that I did that I shouldn't have done, this is like the card that I'm going to make all the mistakes on. I meant to stamp here, but I'm not going to stamp now. So I'm going to actually use this to stamp on, and I'll stamp my sentiment. But basically what I should have done is I should have stamped my Merry Christmas. So this is the card that I'm just going to make the mistakes on. They're not really mistakes. I'm fixing all of them, but it's just not going together quite the way that I had planned. So I'm going to show you how I improvise when it just doesn't go quite as planned. And if I really wanted to make you think that I was doing this on purpose, I would just say I did this on purpose so that you could see how easy it is to improvise when things don't go quite the way you planned them. So right now I am fussy cutting out my wreath, because we're going to put the wreath on the house. And I'm thinking to myself that I hope my next two cards go a lot better. They will. I mean, crafting is fun. And so when things just don't go quite the way you want them to, you just make the best of it. It's still so much fun. And I love being here with you guys. And you know what? I'm okay if you see me kind of mess up, so you can see how easy it is to fix things. All right, look at that little bitty teeny tiny wreath. We are going to put a little bitty dimensional behind that. So I've got my little minis that I'm going to pull out, and I'm going to put it right here in the center. And I'm going to actually use my wreath, or my wreath. I'm going to use my tweezers to help put the wreath in the center of my house. So I want it to go about right there. Okay, last thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp Merry Christmas. And I'm going to use my Memento Black ink again. I have my Merry Christmas ready to go. Make sure I get a good coating on my stamp, and then I'm just going to stamp it right here. Okay, that looks good. Let's clean this off and close it up. Put this on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut out this Merry Christmas. I'm going to start by cutting this across, and let me see. Do I need to trim it down? Do I need to trim it down? I don't think so. I like it just the way that it is. So I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals behind it, and we're just going to pop it up. If I can find my, there we go. Let's do this. Put one here. Take the backs off of these. And then all we'll have to do is our embellishments to finish it up. So let's take this, and I'm going to place it probably right about where I would have normally stamped it. Make sure I've got this straight. Whoops, it was straight until I messed with it. I'm going to do this again. I don't want to push it down until I'm happy with where I have it. Okay, we're going to go with that. Now, I have a couple of different things. We have what they call the red and white baker's twine. Comes in a roll like this. I also have some baker's twine from a long time ago. Same stuff, it's just packaged differently. But I wanted to go ahead and use this up. So, it comes like this. But like I said, I'm going to use up what I've got. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a bow. I'm going to double up the bow because the baker's twine is thin. So I can go ahead and do my bow here. And then once I've got my bow, I'll get it set up the way that I want it. I'm going to make it a tiny bit smaller, just a tiny bit. All right, that looks good. Now I'm going to take my ribbon snips, snip this off, and then I'm going to take a glue dot, by my glue dots, and I'm going to put a glue dot right down here at the bottom, right where the house meets the pole, basically. And then I can take my bow and I'm going to go ahead and place it right here. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out these gems. They're called pecan pie and clear ribbon adhesive backed dots. These are so pretty. I don't know if you guys can see them or not, but it looks like they've got like little ribbons in them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my take your tip pick, and I'm just going to pick up a couple of these, and I'm going to place them on my card. I may have to crank up some more of the little putty on my end here. And then I think I'm also going to do a large one down here. So this card is now finished, and look how cute that turned out. And I'll be honest with you, I used a different color gem on it. So this one has the darker gems, this one has the lighter gems, and then the Merry Christmas, I have a tag instead of actually stamping on the card. You can do either or, but I love the way that this turned out. Such a cute card. All right, let's clean up, and we're gonna move on to card number 2. Move all this stuff out of the way. All right, card number 2. Bring out the card. This is what we're going to be working with. And so we're using all basic white. We have a basic white base. I've already done my embossing, and with this one, I embossed with the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. This is a huge embossing folder. So when you do emboss with it, you have to use the big cut and emboss, obviously. And then I have a piece of scrap. We're going to punch a circle out, and we're going to use the 2 3/8 inch punch. So I'm going to set this off to the side. And then I have a scrap for the house. We're going to stamp the house. And then I'm also going to stamp the sentiment. We're going to pop the sentiment up as well. So let's go ahead while we've got this out, as I'm going to go ahead and get this punched. And again, I punch from the back side so I can see where I'm lining things up so that I get the most of my paper. And then we'll go ahead and get that punched. I'm going to use a little bit more of this perhaps for the welcome, that is the sentiment, and I'm going to stamp that in basic gray. So I'm going to stamp the house in cherry cobbler, but I'm going to stamp the roof and the welcome in basic gray. And then the windows and the doors, we'll do those as well, but I'm going to do this second generation. So let's go ahead and get that going. So let's pull out the basic gray, and I'm going to pull in my mat again, just so that I've got a little bit of support. And I think since I'm going to be cutting it out, I'm going to use this little scrap area down here. So make sure I get a good coating on my welcome. I can look through and see. And then I am going to be fussy cutting around this, so I don't have to get it centered completely, but that looks really good. Okay, so let's clean this stamp off. And then I think what I'm going to do, since I've already got this piece of scrap paper, is I'm going to go ahead and keep stamping on it. So the next thing I'm going to do, give me just a second. Okay, I'm going to stamp my house. I'm going to put the roof on the house. So even though I've got my gray out, I'm going to move it off to the side so I don't get my hands in it. And I'm going to bring in my cherry cobbler, and I'm going to bring in my house stamp. So we'll get this all coated up. It looks good. And I'm just going to go ahead and stamp it down. Nice. I'm going to go ahead and get this cleaned off. Put the cherry cobbler away. Red and I, oh my goodness, we get really messy together. It's crazy how that happens. I don't understand it. So when that happens, and I don't know how I do it, I have baby wipes. Very close, and that way I can clean up. See, I got it on the edges. I don't know how I did that. Guys, I only used one stamp. Crazy. Anyway, all right, baby wipes to the rescue. Get this all cleaned up so that I don't get it on me. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to do my roof. So here is my little roof stamp. I'm going to pull my basic gray back in, and we're going to go ahead and get this inked up. Got a good inking on that. And then I'm just going to line this up because when we punch, this will all punch out together. So I'm going to line this up and get it stamped. There we go. Clean this off. And then we have one more thing to stamp, and that is the door and the windows. So we're going to go ahead and ink that up, and then what I'm going to do is I just want to make sure I get a good coating. We're going to stamp it, lift it up, and then we're going to stamp it again because I want it to be a light color. All right, so here we go. Now what we'll do, after I get this cleaned up and everything put away, okay, we're going to go ahead and bring our punch in. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut off my welcome to start so that my punch will fit better. I don't want to have to mess with all the additional paper that was underneath my house. All right, so now I'm going to get this lined up, and you can see that I'm going to actually have to stamp, or excuse me, punch twice, because I don't have enough on the side for my heart, and I'm going to be actually using that heart. But I want to go ahead and get this lined up appropriately. It's going to be off to the edges a little bit. I've got a funny angle on this. Give me just a second. Okay, happy. There we go, we've got that. And then I'm gonna actually bring this in here again just for my heart, because I just didn't get my heart when I was doing that. My heart got cut off. So we've got that. And then what I can do is I can punch out my windows. So you see this, if I had lined it up, how do I want to say this? I have to punch the windows separately because of the way the stamp works, but you can see what's going to happen with that. It didn't have anything to do with how I lined things up. It's just that I have to do them separately. So I'm going to cut this down. So hopefully I can line this up and get this window. So we've got that window. So we'll get it, and then I'll turn it this way, and we'll get this other window. And then what I will do, let's move all this stuff off to the side so we get the scraps out of the way. I'm going to actually fussy cut the door. So let me get these out of the way. So when you're getting ready to punch, one of the things that you might want to do is just plan what you're doing so that your punches can align appropriately. The windows, there's not anything you can do about those, but typically when you're, like I had to do the heart again, had I left enough room on the side, and I don't know that I could have with this piece of scrap, but had I left enough room, I might have been able to salvage that heart, but it all works out because I was able to punch it again. So I'm cutting out my door, kind of rounding my edges on it. Okay, so now we've got this. And then the other thing I'm going to fussy cut is I'm going to fussy cut my welcome. So let me just kind of cut off the extras around here. And then I'm going to fussy cut this welcome. You know, you don't always have to have a punch or a die with your sentiments. Just stamp them, and then you can fussy cut around them, and it works great. All right, I'm gonna take off that pointy edge right there. I'm gonna attempt to take off that pointy edge. Maybe. Okay. Almost have the pointy edge off. All right, very good. I'm happy with that. All right, so let me get these scraps out of the way. And now what we can do is we can start to build this card. Pull my dies out, my punches. Okay, this is our base. Let's go ahead and get this folded. And we're gonna do the same thing we did with the last one. This is an extra piece. I'm just gonna put this off to the side. Let's go ahead and get our embossed layer down. Oops. You can hear I'm hitting all of the little ridges in the embossed piece. All right, so let's get this down, and I'm going to pick it up just so that I can wiggle it a little bit so that I make sure I get it centered the way that I want it centered. Oops. So a little bit of glue here. When you do have glue, if you have an adhesive eraser available, you can bring your adhesive eraser in. another staple in your craft room. Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell them, but again, you can get these on Amazon. All right, so I have this down. Let's go ahead and let's build our house on our little circle, and then we'll put the circle down. So I'm going to actually pop up the house. So let's put some dimensionals here. Okay, I'll take these off. Did I get that? Nope. Okay, move those out of the way. And I'm going to put my house right about here, I think. That looks good. Okay, and then let's put our windows and our doors on. So here are these little pieces. And I'm going to bring in my silicone mat. I'm going to be gluing on these. So I'm just going to turn them over. And then I can put some glue. And the silicone mat, number one, keeps the glue from getting on my glass mat. But if I do get glue on the silicone mat, it comes off very easily. You just, as soon as it dries, you just rub it off. But let's go ahead and do that. Plus, it's just easier for me to see these pieces because the silicone mat's great. So I'm going to start with my door, and my handle goes on the right-hand side. So let me put my door down. And I think I've got it where I want it to go, I think. Okay, and then we're going to take one window, and I'm using my tweezers to help me, but I'm going to put one window over here. And then I'm going to put the other window on the other side. Let's see, probably right about here. Maybe, I think there's a little bit more room on this side than there is on this side, but we're good. Okay, now the last thing we need to do is we need to put our heart on. So I'm going to see if I can get a little dimensional on my heart. See if I can get it to fit right here. I'm gonna turn it over. Oh good, I can't see it. Yay, that was the goal. I don't wanna see the dimensional. We're gonna take the back off of that one. I'm gonna bring my heart in. I'm gonna use my tweezers again. Tweezers with these little pieces are easier for me, just because my fingers tend to get in the way. So I'm going to go ahead and put my heart here, and I've got that. Now what I can do is I'm going to turn this over, and I am going to add dimensionals to the back of my circle. So let's go ahead and get our dimensionals here. Sticky, sticky. And I think I'm trying to debate whether or not I want to put glue on the backs of these dimensionals. Can I get the circle where I want it to go without having to adjust it too much? We'll see. Let's see what I can do. So I'm going to move this out of the way, turn this over, and I want my circle to go pretty much in the center. I think I can do this. I think I can. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop it. It looks good to me. We're going for it. And then we're going to take the welcome. Remember, we've got the welcome here. And the welcome's going to go right over here at the top, which means that this ME part of the welcome is going to lay on the circle. So I only need a dimensional on, I'm trying to decide, do I want to use a little dimensional? Probably. I only need one dimensional, and then I'm going to put a tiny bit of glue on the back side where the ME is, and it's just to hold it down, and then we're going to go ahead and pull this off. All right, so let's go ahead and take this. I think I might need just to get my fingers out of the way, I'm going to lay my welcome down right here, and hopefully that looks good. I like that. Okay, all right, now we get to start decorating again. So I'm going to pull back out my twine again, my baker's twine. I'm going to make another bow. All of these have the same theme. They have red and white baker's twine bows, and they all have embossed layers. So, oh, and they all have houses too. but they look different, right? So how fun is that? Okay, let's go ahead and get this bow set up the way that we need it. Make it a little bit smaller maybe. I'm thinking, not too small. I got a lot of space I can use. All right, so let's bring my snips out again, my ribbon snips, and I'm just gonna cut that one off, and then I'm gonna cut it across this way. All right, and now we're going to put this bow off to the side, and of course I need my glue dots, so let me bring my glue dots in, and my take your pick. And I think I'm going to put it right about here. Works for me. And then we'll take the bow and place the knot right on the glue dot. Okay, so now we've got that. And then I'm going to bring in my embellishments again. I love these, they're so pretty. But you can see my putty on my take your pick is getting very thin. So I'm just going to give it just a tiny twist. A tiny twist will give me just enough for me to be able to pick these up, hopefully, so that I can lay them down. And we'll do a big and a little. And I kind of like to do mine in that diamond shape. So I'm going to finish the diamond over here. And now this card is finished. How fun is that? So cute, guys. So cute. Okay, very good. Now, I'm going to bring in the card that is my favorite. I love this card because of the trees, and it just made me think of a snowy scene. But what I did, let me bring the kit out, is I have my basic white card base. And then obviously I'm gonna cut my heart out in red. I need to have a scrap so that I can stamp my house and my windows. And then remember the part where we cut out this circle? This is the circle from the first card that we can now utilize on this card. And then I'm gonna show you guys what I did with my embossed piece. So, I had seen somebody do this on TikTok and I'm like, I gotta do this, I gotta try it. So the first time I did it, you can see the embossing on it. It's just the trees, right? But up at the top, I stamped Let It Snow. Now, just to let you know, the Let It Snow is not part of the house one. It actually came from the Sophisticated Sled. So I borrowed a sentiment from the Sophisticated Sled. But the first thing I did is I ran my cardstock through the Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder. Can you guys see that? Let's see if I can get it good. It's this Let It Snow 3D embossing folder. Thank you, Jana. So then after I did that, I ran it through the Painted Trees 3D embossing folder. So here's what happened. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's snowing around my trees. So one of the things you want to remember when you are going to stamp and you've got an embossed cardstock, you want to stamp first, then do your embossing, because if you try to stamp after you've done your embossing, you may not be able to get your stamp to adhere correctly to the paper. It'll get caught on the embossed pieces. But isn't that pretty? It's snowing around my trees. So let's go ahead and build this card now. So we've got the card base, and I'm gonna go ahead and get it ready to go. And then we're gonna take our embossed layer. Look at the deep embossing on that tree embossing folder. It's really deep. Okay, so let's get this lined up. And I'm gonna wiggle it into place. I know a lot of people like to use the Stampin' Seal, but I just don't have a lot of flexibility with Stampin' Seal. I do use it, I really do. but not when I have to get things lined up. Okay, let's start to work on our house now. This house is going to be stamped in smoky slate, and then I'm going to stamp the roof and the door in Misty Moonlight. And then we're going to utilize a pool party. How fun is that? For the windows. So let me show you how we're going to do this. Let's go ahead and get our house stamped first. And we're going to do that in the smoky slate. I'm going to bring my little mat back in again to be able to stamp on this. And let's get this inked up. Okay, and I'm just going to do it down here at the end because that'll go into my punch really well. So we've got our house. Let's clean this off. I'm going to close up this ink. Now we're going to bring our roof in, and we'll go ahead and get it stamped. Make sure I got a good coating on it. Looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up as best I can. Bring it down right about there, I think. Looks good. All right. Now, next, we're going to still use this Misty Moonlight ink. I'm going to kind of move it out of the way for just a second because I want to show you guys something. This is the stamp that has the door. All right. It has the door, it has the two windows. How am I going to get the door? Because my windows are a different color than my door. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Scotch tape. I'm going to take off a little piece here, and I'm going to put tape over this window. And then I'm going to take a little piece of tape, and I'm going to put it over this window. Okay, now I can bring my Misty Moonlight ink in, and I'm going to ink up my door. Okay, I've got ink on my door, but I need to make sure, and I'm going to use my tweezers for this because last time I got my fingers in it. I'm going to pull the tape off. See if I can do this without getting ink on me. Pull the tape off, and then I will just have ink on the door. Now it looks like it kind of, what do I want to say? Bubbled up just a little bit, so my door might be not quite as solid as I want it to be. Can you see what it kind of did? But we've got it. So let me do this. I'm going to move the ink out of the way for just a quick second. Turn my door around because I want my handle, my doorknob to the right. And I'm going to center this up where I want it, and I'm going to stamp my door. There we go. Now we have our door. So now what I can do is I don't really need the door, and remember my die will cut out my windows, so I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to bring out my pool party, and I'm going to stamp this again, and I'm doing windows and door, even though I don't need my door. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this. Okay, close this up, and we're going to get ready to punch. I've got my stamping done. All right, so the first thing we'll punch is the house. So I'm going to turn this back around, and I'm going to go ahead and get my house lined up here. Let's see, there we go. Get my house lined up. Let's see, probably right about there. So now we've got our house punched. This is just scrap. And then I'm going to come over to this side, and I'm going to line up for this window. So I've got this window punched. Then I will line it up for this window. Got this window punched. All right, so let's regroup here. I've got my windows. Get rid of the scraps. And the last thing I need to punch is my heart. So bring my punch back in again. I've just got a piece of scrap red, and I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna line it up right here. Punch my heart. I only used a little bit of my scrap. And now I can start building this house. So let's go ahead and do it. I'm gonna bring back in, because it's kind of the same situation I got going on here. I'm gonna bring back in my silicone mat, and I'm gonna turn these pieces over so that I can get glue on them and get them placed appropriately. So let's go ahead and get some glue on these windows. My glue bottle's kind of getting goopy. So that's okay. We're all good because it's on my silicone mat. Got a little bit here. And then let's go ahead and get these windows placed first, and then we'll do our heart. So I'm gonna bring my tweezers back in again. Grab this window, and we're gonna put it right here. Grab this window. So I've been building houses tonight. Okay, got our windows in. And I'm going to, I think on this heart, I'm gonna use a black Stampin' Dimensional. I just don't want white showing out underneath this. If it was a white heart, the white would be fine. But Stampin' Up! Has the white dimensionals, and then they have an assortment pack of Stampin' Dimensionals that are in black. And so you'll get the minis and you'll get the bigs if you just decide you want to use black. So I'm going to take one of these little black ones and get it centered here. And then that way, when you're holding the card, this isn't going to, the black dimensional isn't going to stick out like a white one would. However, I did not get that centered quite the way that I wanted it. So I'm going to take my snips, and I'm just going to kind of snip off just the edges of it so that they're not, that I can't see them. I can see this. So snipping off the edges of it. There we go. I'm happy with that. Let's take the back off. Maybe. There we go. And then I'll use my tweezers to help me get my heart placed. Very good. There we go. All right, let's start building the rest of the card. We're going to bring back in our snowy embossed tree layer. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my heart on my house on my circle with dimensionals, but I want the big dimensionals. I got little dimensionals here. Where are my big dimensionals? There we are. All right, so let's take a few of these, and I'm going to put one up here, and then one down here, and here. Whoop. Pull these backs off. These cards are so easy and just so fun. I really had a lot of fun working with these cards this week, getting ready for tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and get this centered. I think that's where I want it. Okay. And then we're going to put dimensionals on the back of the circle. So let's go ahead and get that done. And I think I'm going to use 5 dimensionals, one on each side, so to speak, if you have a side with a circle. And then I'll put one in the middle so we don't have middle sag. Pop these off. Put these in the bin. And then I'm going to turn it this way. And I'm going to put it down here. I don't want to hide the trees in the snow, so I'm going to put it down a little bit lower, try to make it even on the edges here. Maybe come in just a little bit here. I think my house is straight. Yep, looks good. And here we go again. We're going to bring out the baker's twine. Do another double bow. A little bit smaller, and then I'm gonna trim it off. What happened to my ribbon snips? They're right here. Trim this off, And then of course bring in another glue dot. So what did I do with the glue dot? They're right here. All right, take your pick. You can see what tools I use on a regular basis. My take your pick, my snips, and not just my regular snips, but my ribbon snips as well. And then Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell tweezers, but for me, tweezers are a must as well. So let me go ahead and get this. I think I want to make this bow over here just a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to trim this up just a tad. You can kind of see, because it was on the card, I noticed it on the other card too. I'm talking about the twine being on the card. When it comes off of here, it's kind of got a fold to it. So my twine tends to fold. Okay, now the last thing we're going to do is I'm going to bring back in these gorgeous gems. And I'm going to add these. I mean, these look like snow. So I'm going to go ahead and add this in. This is actually where I got the idea to double emboss, because I'm like, the gems look like snow, but I could really put snow on here by embossing it. So let me put this one over here. And now we have this card finished. Isn't that so pretty? This is my favorite card. All right, you guys will have to let me know what your favorite card is, but we've got the Let It Snow card. We have our card with the plaid embossing in the red. Pull these down so you guys can see. And then we've got our little, I'm gonna call it a gingerbread house. Our little gingerbread house on its little pedestal. So how fun. And this is all part of the Humble Home stamp set and punch. So easy, so easy. All right, guys, let me come back to you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed these cards. They were so fun to make. But remember, this is a to-go class, so please do, if you're interested in getting this kit for free, go out to my website, and all the information is there. And if you place an order in my online store, then I'm more than happy to send you these cards for free, and you get all 3 of them ×2, so you'll get 6 cards. Be sure to use the host code. I'm going to take this down and put the host code up. You guys don't have to write this down because it is on my website, but I want to point it out because you do need to utilize the host code, which is a signal to me that you want the to-go kit. So there's that. And then one last thing I want to do is ask your favor as I continue to grow this channel, both through Facebook and also on YouTube, because this video or recording will be posted to YouTube tomorrow. I'm trying to grow these channels. So if you would like and share and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. That would be awesome. So thank you again for joining me tonight. I love having you guys here, and I will see you guys again next week. Take care. Bye.